I'm your host and MC, James Ross, and this is Quantum Leopard. This episode, we have the wonderful Emily Bampton. This set was recorded on the 18th of November 2023 by Aniruddh Ojha at Bold Elephant, and the interview took place on the 1st of October 2024. Emily's one of our elite Quantum Leopard Champion of Champions winners, and this is the set that she won the award with, so lots to enjoy here. She's also technically elite special forces. Sure, why not? Content warnings on this set for incels and experiences races. Enjoy!
To be back. I feel like I've barely been away. Oh, it's lovely. It hasn't been very long at all. I'm Emily. I just moved to London. Do we think it looks good on me? My mum said the other day, I was like, I think London looks good on me, and my mum was like, I think you look poorer. She's not wrong. I definitely do. I had a real, London moment the other day where I was like, I think I'm a Londoner now, guys. I was walking down the road and I saw a squirrel eating a perfectly ripe avocado in a dumpster. And I realised in that moment that squirrel had a better diet and a more stable housing situation than I will ever have. So that's been interesting. I have roommates now. Give me a cheer if you have roommates? How are you yeah. All the gays, and you all live together, don't you? In one big communal, yeah. You all make dinners for each other. No? You're giving me community dinner vibes. You're nodding along. Yeah. Called it. I live with roommates. I was previously living, as I said, in Oxford. I was living with my mum, who is black, and my dad, who is part of the problem. Some of you have met him. Isn't he nice? So I now live with 2 white women roommates. It's very, very exciting. Before, when I lived at home, we outnumbered my father. It was like very slow prank-based reparations. You gotta take what you can get. You gotta chip away at the system slowly, guys. But yeah, now I live with 2 white women. That's very interesting. It's mostly good, mostly very good. It's communal. It's nice. However, living with roommates, sometimes you'll find something where you don't expect it. I'll go in the fridge and I'll be like, oh, my cheese is on the wrong shelf. Or I'll go in the bathroom and I'll be like, oh, someone's moved my shower. I was expecting to find it there. What I didn't brace myself for was the sheer amount of straight white lady hair I would find inside of my own butthole. Every single day. Every day. They don't skip a day. They don't even take off Sundays, God's day. I don't know what's happening. Does anybody else live with people with long hair? Does anybody else have this? You're not. You're okay. Yes. Do you want to be? I can't see if you have a badge, but you've You've got no hair. Okay. So it's definitely because I'm the same. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like, I know what mine looks like. It's not straight. It's very alarming to pull something that did not come from you. How emotion? Let's just check in. How's it been for you? Tell me. How do you think it gets there? I have some theories. Oh, okay. That's lovely, because what's just been pointed out to me is I'm not getting laid. And somebody is. That's nice that they do that for you. Because we know exactly, I'm not going to say, but we know exactly what it is now, so that's nice. Thank you so much for sharing and being so vulnerable. Great. Why am I fucking my roommate? I'm not. I sleep alone. I don't let them in my bed. I sleep under a 15 dog. I sleep under 15 dogs, but they have short hair. No. I sleep under a 15-dog duvet and a heated blanket like God intended, alone. Alone. I do not let them in the bed with me, right? I get up every single morning. I go into the shower. I see the straight white hair on the side of the shower, and you know what I don't do? Rub my own arse against it! And I wash you do all the bits and bobs. How? Do they have powers? Does anybody know? Okay, we know. Does anybody who's... This is the set. Like, does anybody know what's going on? Who do you live with? You have hair. Are you fucking? Cool. We're about to get... Have you got badges on? Yeah. Okay, cool. Have you found... any of this beautiful person's hair? You can't say that you have. What am I doing wrong? I need to know. Anyway, I think they have magical powers. Maybe it's a prank. Maybe it's reverse reparations. Which is just racism, but a very... If anybody has any theories, please come and speak to me afterwards. I'll move on to something else now. Oh, we have so much time. In case you were wondering, did she use up her whole 10 minutes on the hair butt crack stuff? Not even close, baby. I can do some more ad-libbing and get to know each other. What else was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about the fact that it is, despite the very weird... reverse reparations, but I think that actually is what that is. It's nice living with women, because I am very worried about the boys. Are we all aware? Things are not good. I don't know if anybody's checked on them recently. They're not doing well. They've gotten ideas. Arguably not what they're for. People haven't been doing their rounds. We're all meant to check on them, right? Last time I checked on them, it was 2008. They were all playing Minecraft. Quietly, alone, and weren't thinking about anything too heavy. I'm sad to report things have escalated. The boys, they have, we know incels, you're all liberal. Yeah. If you don't know, the boys, if you don't smile at me, so I'll assume you're one of them. The boys are annoyed. I know, because the girls, I know this is but it makes it funnier. I don't have time for all the genders, but I support you. The boys are annoyed that the girls don't want to talk to them. Yeah. Oh, poor the boys. But guys, don't worry, they have a brilliant plan. They have an amazing plan. The plan is, thank you, I love this. The plan is, instead of going outside and talking to the girls, they're going to sit inside on computers and bitch about women on the internet with each other. Flawless plan. 10 out of 10 boys. What I think it is that they don't feel useful, bless them. Oh, the boys don't feel useful. I don't feel useful either, but we won't go into that. I don't think they don't know that the rest of us don't feel useful. I think we need to give them some tasks. I have a brother, and I think I've come up with the solution. My brother is single, as far as I know, has always been, is like 22, stays inside, likes the internet, arguably slightly too much. Perfect for the boys. However, I think the reason my brother has not been captured by the boys is because he grinds his own coffee beans. What I like about that, it's a laughter of recognition. Because if you grind your own coffee beans, you're a bit you're a bit farmery, aren't you? You get up in the morning, you do something for yourself, you feel useful. It's a bit old Old-fashioned, old-timey. Oh, I'm getting up, I'm providing for myself, I am. Because way back when, you get up and you go, oh, Doris, I'm gonna plough the land. I'm gonna inseminate a cow. Oh, I might inseminate my wife. They're really not giving the gays sex education, apparently. Now everybody's vegan and no one wants kids. What are the boys doing? They could be getting up and being like, "Or I'm gonna grind my own coffee beans, I am. I'm gonna provide for myself, I am. I'm gonna feel useful. I don't mind, I don't get to inseminate nothing. Ooh." I just think it would help. I have run out of time, so I will leave. But I think we could make it part of like national service or something. Just for like little things like growing herb gardens and grinding coffee. Nothing actually taxing for the boys. We don't want to stress them out too much. They might get more ideas. Anyway, you've been absolutely lovely. I've been Emily Bampton. Please follow me on Instagram. You think I'm sexy and or funny. And welcome back your amazing host, Jen!
Was Emily Bampton. Thanks for an amazing set, Emily. That was loads of fun. So this is the set that won you the coveted Quantum Leopard Champion of Champions Award 2023.
Indeed.
How does it? So, how does it feel to be in such august and elevated company? And would you like to take a few minutes just to list all of the many opportunities that this has opened up for you?
Well, countless. I just headlined by Pride, actually, and I'm sure that was a direct correlation.
Direct consequence of that. Yes. We've got our tentacles in the bi community, but no, it's that will be a coincidence. Well, that's an exciting thing. So, is this a London event or is this a regional or a national thing?
It's it's in London. It was in West London, but it's like, and it's UK national by Pride, so it was very cool. I got to headline. I harassed them on email for like 6 months, and then they let me headline. A very interesting thing though about the award specifically is that I live with Louisa Keat, so there are actually two awards in this very house.
Two Quantum Leopard Champion of Champions awards in the same
Indeed.
house. So you've both still got the statues. Do you make them? Do you put them next to each other? Do they?
Yeah,
do
we
they,
make them
do they
kiss
make them
and
kiss?
stuff.
Yeah. That's what we want. The trophy is very very fancy one.
We just need Ruby Carr to win one, and then we'll have the set.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Alternatively, you can replace Ruby with one of the other winners. That would be the easier way of doing it.
That's probably the easier way of doing it, actually, yeah.
just displace her from her ancestral lands and just move in somebody else. I'm sure that's fine. That's yes, strong tradition of settler colonialism within your household. So yeah, why not go for it? For the people who might not be familiar, just to explain the Quantum Leopard Champion, the Champions Awards. So within Quantum Leopard, there are 5 lovely acts each night doing 5 lovely minutes, and the best of those by audience vote comes back for a 10-minute slot, and then the best 10-minute set by vote of my regulars and also Patreon patrons, patreon.com/Quantum Leopard, is crowned the Quantum Leopard Champion of Champions winner, and they get a fancy trophy and they come back yet again. And so we've got some wonderful people that are doing that, including the wonderful Louise Keat, who's got a podcast episode, one of the first ones we did, and also the wonderful Emily Bampton, and also Kerry Bradley, who we've also recorded with, and various others that we've got coming and going at various times. Oh, Mustafa Yassin, who we will be getting in for an interview at some point as well. Yes, that's all great and lovely. Super. So I mean, talk about your previous living situations. Like, how much of, quote unquote, the problem is your dad really?
Oh, not too much. He's I guess, like, in the way that so many white people do, he's just very uncomfortable with talking about race. Mm-hmm. And I was very lucky in some senses growing up that I lived in like a very lovely little quaint village in North Oxford, and, the lovely local village school that my father also attended, and it was all very nice, but it was incredibly white, and so it was just kind of like, he was like, well, race isn't really a thing here. Everything's fine. And my mum grew up on a council estate in Oxford, and race was very much a thing there. Yeah. So she was like, well, I've taken you out of that even being a factor. So between the two of them, neither of them thought, I think, certain conversations that arguably are necessary were necessary to have. So yes, bless him. I do actually have a bit, when I first started performing, that I did about him, which is completely true. Well, at least this part of it is that we were watching Fast and Furious, the first one, and in the first race in that film, Paul Walker is described as a snowman by like a Mexican American guy who's
Yeah.
also about to race him in a car. And my dad just goes, "That's a racial slur," and I was just, it's just like, respectfully, John, it is not.
Yeah.
And we had a whole like argument about it at like midnight while watching bloody Fast and Furious on like 4 Extra or whatever it was playing on like 5 or 6 years ago, and that was very funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad doesn't really touch race with a barge pole, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, like, that's really interesting. So, I mean, like you've, but I mean, it's clearly a topic that can never be split out from your life. I mean, like, how have you missed out by not having those conversations? What conversations did you need to have that you felt that you've been less well equipped for life for missing out on?
I mean, I think part of, I guess, the privilege that I have as somebody who has grown up in a relatively like safe city in a little bubble, like, with people who, the most racism I kind of ever experienced growing up for the most part was like microaggressions that, because I didn't have the context, I didn't know were microaggressions.
Yeah.
So more so than other young Black people, I think I haven't maybe needed it in the way you would, like, if my brother, for instance, had grown up in London, he would have been stopped and searched, and that didn't happen in Oxford. So I do think in a lot of ways, like, I'm very lucky that isn't it, like but it was that I just basically I got to like 13 or 14, and I discovered the Young Turks on YouTube, who are a US like very liberal like news network, or at least they were at the time. I have absolutely no idea what they're doing now, for the record.
Okay.
I think one of their presenters is now a TERF, as all good left-wing media establishments must have.
There's always one within any left-wing groupuscule. There's always one person who's got to go like all the way around the other side and just
exactly.
go absolute wingnut insane. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So but I started watching their videos online. I just became obsessed with like US news.
Yeah.
It was like this happened a few years before Trump was first elected, and what was on the news at that point was overwhelmingly like young Black men getting killed by the police. And I, for the first time in my life, was like, oh fuck, this doesn't affect my life really, but I am very much in the minority of people who are minorities in the white countries, like so yeah, that was caused a lot of friction, I think, in my family. I got very angry with my parents for a time for not equipping me with this information and me having to find out just because I happened to stumble across the right pocket of the internet opposed to like some fucking awful one. So yeah. But no, it continues to be something that I learn about and how it has affected me. I think the most it showed up in my life was hair growing up, to be honest, when I was younger. Yeah, and like that being the big thing that was different about me from like my peers.
Yeah. Cool, that's really interesting. So, I think it's interesting for me having like, just listening to that about how you sort of seem to develop a political consciousness almost like remotely and digitally as a teenager, and being like isolated from these sorts of sites of social and political struggle, and therefore like having it kind of delivered to you as a spectacle, but a spectacle that you felt a great affinity for and a great identification with. So I'm just wondering, I suppose, like now that you're kind of like grown up and moved to a bigger city and you know sort of transcended this bubble, like how has that translated into more sort of like direct quote unquote real world, like material world political commitments, sources of radicalization, things like that, or is it still the case that you're kind of like led to a great extent by that sort of initial sort of digital impetus towards radicalization?
Probably the latter more so. Like it's something I'm aware of more, but I would say, like, honestly, if I'm being like very, very honest, I probably find it a lot easier than most people who occupy multiple minority identities to remove myself from feeling like I have to do that kind of action because of the privilege that I grew up with. Like, even though those things do very much affect me. And I think maybe if I had been, essentially the same person, look the same, have the same identities, but grew up in a different place, I might feel differently about those things. I think I get scared to occupy those spaces, because I am scared of like a lack of intelligence or education on certain issues, or um yeah, just feeling like, I guess, not, and it's kind of, I mean, it's the way that like being both biracial and bisexual sort of shows up, that you're not kind of enough of anything make to feel fully comfortable occupying like black spaces or queer spaces. And I think queer space is less so, but sort of black space is very much so for me, which is, yeah, something which still shows up. Like, I got into Do the Right Scene, which is an all black improv group, the first and only one, I believe, in the UK. And I had my first rehearsal and show with them, like, just last week gone. But even in that space where I'm very much welcome and was auditioned for and invited into, like, I still have these elements of being like, oh, I don't feel like I always get it or feel like fully comfortable. And I would say that I probably could do a lot better with my activism, quite frankly. Like, I haven't been to nearly enough protests, like, about everything that's happening across the world now. Fucking hell. I like to think that I show up. I do put my money where my mouth is, though, and I do try and like donate a lot to causes and things. But yeah, like, I don't necessarily feel comfortable in those spaces, and that it's quite, I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, so I mean, is this something you feel that you've missed out on? Is this kind of this group identification through your upbringing, and so you've got this kind of like this intermediary layer of media interpretation that has kind of like both protected you but also insulated you?
Yes. Yeah.
It's interesting. Cool. So, partway through the set, you the group that's off to the side of the stage that you're interacting with partway through the set, which is harder to hear on the audio, to be fair. So this is one of Quantum Leopard's several regular audience polycules, which I love. I love getting polycules in because it's a group booking. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So anyway, I really love your line about thank you for sharing and being so vulnerable to an unheard revelation, which I believe was about rimming. Anyway,
yes.
There we go. It's all coming back to us now.
Yes.
So, I mean, what is your relationship to crowd work? Is it something you feel comfortable with, and have you always felt that way?
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
It's too personal a question, and I think probably about 15 years older than you, so it would not be an appropriate question.
Yeah.
Even if that's where that was leading. Right.
It's interesting because crowd work is. I come from improv. Like, I was part of the Oxford Imps. That's how I got my start in comedy. All happened late 2019, so it's been rough. But that is how I got into comedy, and you have to get suggestions from the audience in order to do that. So I've always had crowd work as part of my sort of comedic ability, but merging my ability to improvise and my sets and stand-up has been something I found actually quite difficult and has not come naturally to me at all. They feel like very distinct skills. And I would say that the way I really got more comfortable with crowd work is I started something called Undercover Comedy with 4 other queer women in Oxford before I left a few years ago. So that's Anna George, Alex Berger, Jamie Michaela, and Katrina Dowden, who are all fantastic and you will have heard of and award-winning and amazing. And we were quite sick and tired of what was going on with Oxford with the comedy scene there, which we simply don't have time to get into. But it was very bad, very, very bad. And we started a new material night at the local queer pub, the Jolly Farmers, called TBD. And I was the only one who wanted to MC it, so I did, and I loved it. And I just would do so much crowd work, and it was just me chatting to the crowd and taking the mickey out of people. I think my persona lends quite well to like, I think I'm quite authoritative, but also quite sweet
Yeah.
in some ways.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it can be difficult to analyze your own persona, but I do get away with a lot
Yes.
in crowd work that I think if my persona was slightly different would maybe not be as charming. Which is the whole point of comedy, right? It's the context that it comes across in can so change the tone. So yeah, since doing that, which started like 2 years ago now, like yeah, probably around 2 years ago, um, I've just like had more and more opportunities to do crowd work. I was emceeing that night. We started a semi-pro night, so I was emceeing that as well. I started emceeing for other places in London, and then just more and more so, particularly when you can't be bothered to write jokes, just being like, "Hey, what do you guys think about that?" Like, it's a great way of
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the thing about emceeing is that it is sort of having a chat, really, and I think it satisfies the performer's itch to have some attention, while also not forcing us to actually, well, in theory, not forcing us to do that much preparation, but at the same time, like it is something that you do need to practice to be in any way good at it, and you can't just get by on asking people what they do for a living over and over and over again.
Absolutely, I try not to.
Yes, it's the yes. I really try and avoid whatever I'm saying. I want to pick out a couple of things. First, I want to just flag improv is a wonderful foundation for any other kind of comedy that you are looking to do. If anybody is listening to this and is just starting out, go and do a good improv class. It is really, really helpful. Build stage legs, build stage confidence. It's a lovely time.
Good for the soul as well. Just good for the soul.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it's a lot like discovering Christ.
Yes.
Have you heard the good news about our Lord and Savior Keith Johnson?
Yeah.
So that was everything. But in terms of your stage persona, so I mean, you've got a sort of a very sort of kind of capering quality. I'd say you've got sort of big little sister energy. I think is probably how I would.
Interesting. Okay.
But I mean, this is kind of leads me into a lot of what you're doing on stage, which again doesn't really come across in the audio. So, is how much you're kind of moving around, how much action that you're doing, which I feel is like I can read the improv in that, right? Like that is you're occupying the space, you're moving purposefully, you're adding actions to what you're doing, and I think that really kind of like elevates any stand-up that you're doing. So I'm just wondering, like, how consciously have you included these gestures in this piece? Is this just something that kind of like springs up? Organically and autochthonously when you are performing, and it's different every time? Is it a deliberate plan? Is this part of your writing process that you include these sorts of actions, or is it like spontaneous and of the moment?
So I figured out a lot of the beats of this set at Undercover Comedy a few months, like maybe 6 months before this was recorded. And even watching it back now, it feels quite physically underdeveloped for me. If you see me do the set now, it's different.
Okay. Yeah.
I pace less. But partly how that stage was set up, that you have people either side of you and in front of you, so you have to turn more. So it looks, I think, slightly more chaotic than it would if I just had an audience in front of me. But the physical beats for that set are bigger now.
Yeah.
And more purposeful, but it's all there in it if you watch it, essentially. But somebody said to me, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Kristen Walker said to me that you need to you can choreograph things to help you remember them. Like, move your arm here when you say that joke.
Yeah.
So my joke where I go, oh, I've dated a range of people from tall, skinny white men with glasses all the way to short, skinny white men with glasses. I put my hand up high and then I indicate the height. And that is now something I do every single time. And it was actually maybe a week or two after I recorded this set, or that I got the video back from it, I was doing a class with Amanda Baker. She was doing joke craft for the first time at the Bill Murray. I took that class and I showed her this set, and she was like, you can make this move bigger, you can make it more purposeful. And then if you see that set now, it is a lot cleaner, basically. But all of the basis of it is there, and I feel like physicality is a big part of me. I make like very silly faces on stage. It all feeds into that. I really like the little sister energy, though. I haven't had that before, and I particularly in this set, I'm sort of pacing back and forward, going, you know what? I am gonna fuck this man to death, actually.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, mum.
Yeah. That is lovely. Just put Mark, I think, before we move on to the next question. Anybody who is listening to this episode and is interested in the sort of the ideas of physicality and comedy, the Stefan Allen episode of the podcast, which is quite a few back now, is a very good one. So do pick that up as well for a bit more insight on the same topic. Let's talk about the boys. So, how direct have your brushes with incel culture been?
Oh, I feel like I've self-imposed a lot of knowledge about incels, like, onto myself. Partly being not, in fact, a younger sister, but the oldest sister to one younger brother.
Okay.
When I became aware of like incels being a thing and how much my brother liked coding, I think there was a lot of I felt a lot of like pressure to become very aware of this community and like stop it from ever getting hold of him. And,
so
like,
have you engaged in like this sort of prophylactic program of political education in order to sort of, erect a cordon sanitaire around him and keep your baby brother safe?
Yeah, like basically, like I've said, like taught him loads about feminism over the years and like why I think it's important that he identifies as a feminist. I don't actually know if he does, but like those principles are really, I think, there for him in a way that maybe if you didn't have a sister like me, you might not have. Like I was very like gobby and opinionated because of my like self radicalization through liberal YouTube. And most of my incel, like, I think knowledge comes from that as well. I love Natalie Wynn of ContraPoints, who's done amazing videos like breaking down incels, incel culture, and it's almost like a theme that weaves through so much of her work and the jokes that she makes. And I get besotted with her and her mind. So that has been a huge influence. I think the way she speaks, actually, not that we necessarily do that kind of thing. I hear that kind of voice in my head sometimes when I recite things. Like she's incredible. Yeah. So and podcasts and stuff about incels, sort of like dissecting what it means and what it looks like, and the giga chads and the beta cucks, and it's very interesting.
I feel like it's just this sort of weird, like almost Pokemon-ish taxonomy of people. And its only real purpose is to make you more depressed and miserable, and therefore like more vulnerable, and therefore like more susceptible to sort of cult-like inculcation, right?
Yeah, it's like an MLM, isn't it? But for for virgins. Maybe.
But I mean,
opposed for military wives.
Let's not like shame them for a lack of sexual experience, but I
definitely take your point. Yes, but
I mean, I think part of it is as well, the very standard cult playbook of like, we are going to give you a series of opinions or activities that are going to make you more objectionable to people on the outside. You will then go outside and commit to these things, and then the rejection by those people is going to cohere you more to sort of the in-group identity, right? And that's what the purpose of Jehovah's Witnesses proselytizing is you go out on the doorstep, and it doesn't matter how many times that you've got a handsome 39-year-old dad with wonderful glasses and a moustache screaming at you that the Christian God died at Auschwitz, why don't you go fuck yourself, I'm busy, right? But the experience of that over and over again is going to make you feel that you are kind of being rejected by the heathens or whatever, and is going to cohere you more towards the church and more towards social control. And it's the same with the sort of the turf playbook of like, you are going to say weird mad shit that is just going to make everyone think you've gone insane. When you're checked on that, you'll be like, well, you can't tell me what to do, you're not my real mum, and then you'll go back to Mumsnet for another dip in the mad green, white and pink suffragette ink, now that you've appropriated those colours from actual feminists. And I feel that it's a very similar thing with incels as well, is that again, it's it is I feel it's possibly a bit less, I don't know the extent to which it's a conscious cult-like modelling. I feel like maybe it is for some of sort of the Andrew Tate type people who are like consciously making money out of it and building an empire because they've seen it's a strategy that works. I don't know the extent to which it's plausible to apply that model further down the food chain.
Yeah, I think how it initially all came. I mean, I don't know. Like the first time the word incel was used on the internet was for like a bisexual woman who wrote a blog far before this. Like, would estimate like 2006 or something. You'd have to check me on that. But like, and she was speaking about like being at college and not having sex, and it was to encourage her to go and like have sexual exploration, if I'm remembering this correctly. So I think it's kind of very the forums where a lot of people I think actually would initially get radicalized, and would get radicalized when I was doing all of my research to protect my brother, had like very naturally like formed around like community of people who were genuinely quite lost, and then it became this, as you said, like snake eating its own tail, horrible like downward spiral of depression, and people encouraging each other to be more and more depressed and to hate women, and being seen as like, I guess, a fruitful endeavor because they sort of like blackpilled themselves. And just don't believe it's going to get any better. So yeah, it's interesting. And then I think out of that has been bred the people who are doing like pickup artist courses, money making courses. It's another one of my special interests is personal finance, and there's so much crossover between the dude bros and the personal finance guys.
You've got the unifying theme of, well, I must be entitled to a certain degree of success, whether that's romantic or financial.
Absolutely.
The world is not giving me that immediately. There must be some sort of get rich quick scheme. There must be a cheat code. How can I do, pickup artistry is just choosing the right dialogue options on the video game that is a woman, right?
Yes.
And like, what is it with crypto? I mean, crypto and allied financial, in inverted commas, strategies, brackets, definitely not a gambling problem, close brackets. Like that again feels like, okay, here are the cheat codes. What can I do if I upskill in this particular way? How can I video game my way through this situation to the success that I should naturally have as a white Western cis straight man, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the ironic thing about both those things is just being kind and having real conversations with people and putting the effort in will eventually get you to where you want to be.
It is. Yeah.
With finance,
I know.
You just got to invest in well diversified index funds that follow the market, and you've got to do dollar cost average, pound cost averaging. You don't need to buy the dip or sell at the height. You've just got to plug away at being a nice person, plug away at putting your money into the market, and then you'll get your sweet returns, my boys. The boys.
Stop me if this one is getting too personal, because obviously this is his business and all of that. But I mean, how are these strategies working, like, with your brother? Like, is he, like, has he been taught to women as if they're people, and that is working well for him? Yeah.
He's the sweetest. We're really close. Like, that was, I think, like, again, the incel culture first understanding all of this stuff was like when I was 14 and he was like 12, and sort of has been something that I've continued to be aware of growing up. And I think he is a very sweet, introverted lad who the funny thing about him is that he can really turn on the charm when he wants to, like, and stuff. And he's very very good at chatting to people, and if you were to meet us both, you'd be like, oh my god, they have like very similar energy, are very friendly. But the difference between me and Will is that, like, afterwards I'm like, cool, yeah, let's keep going, and he's like, I'm absolutely spent, can you fuck off now? So yeah, bless him.
Okay, cool. All right. And is he currently single?
I believe so.
Okay, cool.
That is the one thing that I don't get a lot of information on.
That's fine. All right, but to the best of our knowledge, at the time of recording.
At the time of recording, okay. I'm really up for setting him on dates with people who understand comedy. So cool. I will post when this is released. I'll post pictures of him on my Instagram story. If anybody wants to date him, I'll put you in touch.
Great. That's fine. Yeah, you do that. That sounds like good. Let's get something positive out of this podcast at last.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. So, Emily, if people thank you for a lovely chat. If people want to catch up with you and your doings on the internet, where should they seek you out? What have you got to plug?
Best place to find me is Instagram at Emily Bampton. I also have a website, emilybampton.com, which I don't update nearly as much as I should. And hopefully by the time this comes out, I will still be running my beautiful night, Comedy in Ruins, which is very much inspired by Quantum Leopard, in that I want to have beautifully diverse lineups of hilariously funny people that should be more famous than they are. Make sure everybody gets paid and compensated at lovely venues with excellent staff, and hopefully an audience of people who want to come back because they like what we're putting on. So yeah, it's in Walthamstow at Mother's Ruin Gin Distillery, and it happens about once a month.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Okay, excellent. Well, thanks for much chatting, Emily. I've had a lovely time. I hope you have had one too. So go and check out Emily's stuff, and thanks so much for your time. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
That was the Quantum Leopard podcast. If you want to catch a live show in London, look us up at linktree/Quantum Leopard to sign up to the mailing list. We will never take advertising because advertising is cultural poison, but from each according to their ability to each according to their need. So if you enjoyed our guests in your ears, but would like them in your eyes as well, we have videos of whole shows up on patreon.com/Quantum Leopard. We only charge when a new live show video comes out. If you enjoyed the show, why not give us a 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice and or share this episode on the socials. Editing was by Rhys Lawton, who is conventionally attractive and fun at parties. Music was composed and produced by Rooks Production Services at I Am Rooks on the socials. That's Rooks with an E. The Quantum Leopard podcast is distributed and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 international license, which means you can share it as much as you like, but don't change it or sell it in any way because I will find out where you live. Kind love and see you soon. Bye.
You know, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, friend, everything happens for a reason, but that reason is confirmation bias. You heard it here first.